Today's episode is presented by Vaer. Vaer was founded with the goal of building an affordable everyday wristwatch that blends tasteful design with extreme durability and functionality. Vaer returns a sense of dignity to affordable wristwatches and are built to last. Vaer is a true American watch company specializing in both quartz and automatic watches. Vaer is offering our listeners 15% off with the offer code PODGO15. That's PODGO15. Go to VaerWatches.com to learn more and get your new timepiece today.
Ideals like peace, freedom, and justice, they get packed up, but we can all go home. Well, I'm not going home. I'm gonna get on my boat and I'm going upriver and I'm going to kick that son of a bitch Bison's ass so hard that the next Bison wannabe is gonna feel it. Now, who wants to go home and who wants to go with me?
Welcome to the Rated G for Gamers podcast, episode 234. Before we start the show, we want to thank all of our wonderful fans who have supported us. And if you want to show support for Rated G, you can find us on Patreon at patreon.com/Rated G for Gamers. You can also find us on YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at Rated G for Gamers. Subscribe to us in your podcatcher of choice. And finally, please rate and review us on iTunes and Spotify. We appreciate all the love. I'm your host, Dave Rotino, and this is my co-host, Dan. It's the last days of summer, Robinson.
What's going on, man?
Well, I know it's a bittersweet time, right? The weather's starting to get a little bit cooler right now. Things are changing.
Perfect. It's perfect. It's like 79 degrees outside. It's perfect weather.
It's nice. It's nice. You can go outside and kind of rock a hoodie and be okay and not like sweat your butt off.
Or you can go out and do some retro game hunting.
You can do some retro game hunting, Dan. Thank you for that segue. Thank you for that lead in. I had a bang up. I had a grand slam. There you go. I got to use the right baseball terminology because it would be close to the World Series right now if it was under normal conditions. Had a grand slam of a weekend. Two great pickups this weekend. I had one today. I had one yesterday, and I have a very interesting story to tell. So, do you know, and I know you know this game now because we kind of talked about it off the mics a little bit, but do you know this game, Blood Will Tell?
Yes.
For the PlayStation 2. Okay, you've heard of this game before.
No, I know the game. It came out like in 04 or 05 towards the end of the PS2 life cycle, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's not the greatest game.
No, I think it's like a 6 or a hard 7 at best. It feels like a second-rate Silent Hill. You know, I looked it up real quick. I never heard of this game before. And also, I didn't realize how much it goes for.
This game, it's expensive.
Yeah. So I to put this into context, I woke up late yesterday, and I was poking around on Craigslist. I woke up like real late. I woke up late to the point of where if someone's having a garage sale, it's all going to be picked clean, all right? But like I said, it's crazy times right now, and you throw everything out because nobody knows what's going on, right? Some people don't want to go outside. They want to socially distance. They don't want to travel, right? So this guy had a phone number. I hit him up. I said, hey, do you have any of the video games pictured left? He says, yeah, no, I got them all. Come on down, right? And I'm like, okay. And I was looking at the games, and I'm like, all right, I'm going to do this, right? So I get out at like 2 o'clock, which is like crazy, right? You figure the games are gone by this time if it was non-zombie season. And, I make it all the way down there. The guy The guy stays out a little bit longer. I'm like, thank you. It's awesome. You know, we were chatting for a little bit. And like on the way down, I'm looking up the games and I'm like, ooh, this game's like, you know, worth a bit of money. This game's uncommon. This game's uncommon. This game's a little rare. And I see the Blood Will Tell game and I look it up. It goes for like $350 complete. So I was bugging out. I'm like, all right, that's the game. That's the one you got to get. That's like the crown jewel. And, you know, you'll take it home, right? I gotta use all my best Ann Robinson tactics, right? I got to go in, pretend to be not that interested. You got some, you know, whatever games here. You know, you kind of got to wheel and deal and feel out the situation. And by the time I got down there, I asked the guy, I said, you have that Blood Will Tell game? Because I saw everything else but that. And he goes, somebody took it last week. So I was like, hot damn. But I did clean out his whole entire PS2 collection. I'll talk about those games and what they are on the next Saturday Morning Retro podcast. And then today, I got a nice another pickup, which was mostly PS2 games, a couple of Wii games, a Game Boy Advance game, and a couple of DS games. So that was a pretty good haul. Haven't had a haul that good in a while, so you know it felt kind of good back to back, right? It was pretty solid. So.
Well, I seen that same post.
Did you?
Pro tip, wake up early if you're going to do garage sales.
I know. Why didn't I look like just about every day just to see what's up. And for the whole entire summer, no one was selling anything, right? I didn't find anything good. Anything that was worth getting out for, right? Yeah. I have a copy of Modern Warfare for the PS3 with a GameStop sticker on like the spine, and I have Wii Sports. I'm like, nah, I'm good, right? So these were like the only two that like look real good to me. But sure, okay. Well,
so, I woke up early, and I check on the weekends just to see if there's anything out there. I did see that post, and I hit that same guy up, and he told me that Blood Will Tell is gone, that someone picked that up.
Shoot.
So most of the games that he had, I already had in the collection anyway, so there was no need for me to go down here, but I'm glad you scooped it up. So
well, there was like 5 or 6 games that were uncommon RPGs, right, that I'm like, yes.
Not my jam, as you know.
Definitely no. You wouldn't. Shin Megami Tensei 1 and 2, no. Stella Deuce, no. Front Mission 4, no. You wouldn't be into all those games. So.
Even though I already have those games anyway.
I mean, you may, yeah. You may have had them.
Yeah, it was like one or two games I didn't. It was like one or two games I didn't have, but it was nothing for me to go. It wasn't anything exciting for me to get up and go down.
Yeah,
so yeah,
I
saw that same.
Sure. And I asked the guy too. I was like curious. I'm like, where'd you get these games from? And I'm like, oh, did you get them from like a garage lot? And he's like, yeah, I got them from a garage lot. And he's like, oh, well, that's like fantastic. He's like, well, it's sad. Like, it's sad for the dude. I'm like, oh, well, sure. But, you get to sell some stuff and I get to buy some stuff. So that was like the positive note on that day. But, yeah, man, it was good. I had to rearrange the collection and then rearrange it again today. So I did it. I did the whole entire shelf top to bottom, right? Because it's a whole PlayStation shelf. So I redid the whole thing. It took me like a half an hour. I'm like, this is good. Feels good. It's nice. It was therapeutic. And then today I'm like, I got to do it all over again.
Welcome to having no room at all and having to make room.
Right.
So
I'm actually at that. I'm at that space. I'm at that situation again because I bought 2 new shelves over the summer, right? I bought them off Wayfair. They're like kind of the low profile shelves, kind of like the ones that you have, and I put them behind my couch as like extra space. And I already like filled all that up. Like now I'm already into double stacking again. Hey,
it'll never ends. You will always have to double stack at some point.
I'm gonna have to do the thing that some people recommended and that I was like, oh, that's actually not a bad idea. And just to build the bookcase up that wall. All right. Next to the Red Dead 2 poster. I got to build that up. And I think that'll carry me through for a decent while. So I can get a lot of shelving up there. I can make that happen. But anyway. So how was your weekend, Dan?
Well, you had a productive Labor Day weekend of collecting games.
Sure. The hustle was strong.
I was just a beach bum. I hung out on the beach.
Hey, man.
That's all. Nothing too crazy.
You gotta get some vitamin D. That helps with the zombie apocalypse, right? You got to enjoy the rays. I'm a little jealous.
So it was packed to the brim. I actually wore a mask on the beach, and I took it off when you got like you cement my place in the sand.
Right.
This is
right.
This is where I'm setting up camp.
6 feet away from everybody, so you don't need the mask. Yeah.
Yeah, but you see people running around. No one was wearing a mask on the beach except for like maybe a handful of people. And I know I look silly wearing a mask actually on the beach, and I have a little tan with the front face. The front part of my face is like light, and the rest of my head and my face is dark.
Right.
But because of the mask, but I didn't care. I was like, I'm not taking any chances. So it was just a beach weekend for me. That's all.
Okay.
So
yeah. Well, it's a good time. You got to get in. You got to get in while the getting's good, and this is pretty much it, right? Things are starting to wind down a little bit.
Dave, this is my favorite part of the year. This is pumpkin spice season. This is punk. I love
PSL.
Listen, I love the fall or the beginning of the fall where you get to go apple picking and pumpkin picking.
It's
and
nice.
We're about to go into
Halloween. Best holiday of the year. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then Thanksgiving and like this is the start of the holiday season for me.
Sure.
So this is Christmas one. If it's still a term from you.
Christmas one. That's right. I'm glad you're bringing that into the fold. Listen, I've come around a little bit on Grown Man Gamer. I'm glad you've come around at Christmas one. Because you can't have Christmas 2 without Christmas 1.
You can have Christmas 2. It's just Christmas. But I digress.
All right.
I digress.
All right.
We're going to have an amazing show for you guys this week. We're going to talk about AT&T's decision on what they're going to do with Warner Brothers Interactive Game Division and Super Mario Brothers 35th Anniversary Direct. We finally got it. But before we get into all that, let's begin with we have real life superheroes out there. You never know. This comes from a report. I saw this actually on the news. FBI is investigating pilots reporting a mysterious jetpack man in LA.
So
this happened around LAX.
It's the Rocketeer. Is that what you're telling me? There's a real life Rocketeer out there.
I'm saying
Tony Stark.
It's the beginning stages of Iron Man. That's all I'm saying.
Oh my God. He's running his he's running his tests. He's got to see how it does in the cold weather. All right. Spoilers, not so good.
Well, imagine you're on a plane and you just see somebody who's just floating around in the air on a rocket ship.
Right. Or imagine you're the pilot and you're like, that guy's in our airspace.
So they were 3,000 feet in the air. And they just see somebody just flying around in a rocket, like
3,000 or 30?
No, 3,000.
Okay, 3,000. So they were at the vertical descent or the diagonal ascent, I guess, right? They were going up, most likely.
That's crazy. Listen, I mean, so I got to say, it's probably Elon Musk. If I had to guess, just go to his house. Just go to his house. He did it. I mean, who else will have the resources and the balls to go out and as like Rocket Man?
He is like the ultimate Bond villain, right? Like he looks like a Bond villain. He has the funds to be a Bond villain. He has the means to be a Bond villain.
Well, he has the name, Mr. Musk, right? Like he has the name to be a Bond villain. I can tell. He did it. It's him.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or I mean, I'm surprised. I'm not gonna lie. I'm surprised we haven't had a real life Batman.
Oh yeah. Well, it's forthcoming, right? If we have
Batman is just a rich guy with gadgets, right? Like
and some free time.
Lots of free time at night, mostly.
Yeah.
So I'm surprised we don't have like a real life Batman. That's just listen, it's coming, right? Like the age of the superheroes, real life superheroes, is coming.
Do you know about Angle Grinder Man?
Who? What? Where?
Angle Grinder Man.
That doesn't even sound real.
He is, or he was. I don't know if he's still doing his thing, but he was a real life superhero who was out of England. And when they like put the boot on the car, right? That's I guess like in England they're like angles or whatever, right? And they put the thing on the wheel, right? The metal thing on the wheel, so the car can't go anywhere, so you can't like drive it away, right? He would grind off the angles on there so people could drive their car away. He was trying to do the good thing for the people, and he would wear like a red suit, I think, with like a cape. Yeah, it was a whole big thing. Like he was a real life superhero. He'd like go around with one of those like saw blades, right? I forget what they're like called specifically, and he would just like angle it off.
Wait,
Well,
so
I guess an angle grinder, right? Yeah, because
he doesn't sound like a superhero. He sounds more like a super villain.
He's
You
like,
illegally
no.
parked, and they put a boot on your car. I can get it out.
Yeah, no, he's like Batman. Come on, he's doing the good thing.
What's the good thing? They illegally parked. Maybe park the car right, or park the car.
Well, we don't know why the boot is on the car, but he's like taking it off of the people.
Come on, the cops put a boot in the
people.
car. They probably parked illegally somewhere.
Oh my God, this guy siding with the villains over here.
He doesn't sound like a superhero to me. I'm sorry.
All right. Well, I'm just saying
sorry.
he's out there. Whether you call him a villain or a hero, he wears a cape.
I call him super crazy. That's what
right.
I call him.
All right.
And he's wearing all red. Hey, he's trying to get away. Where is he? We can see the guy dressed in all red running that way.
Listen,
we found him. It was easy.
I'm not making any commentary on his outfit. I'm just saying,
at least Batman is all
like a superhero.
Batman is all black and dark, and he only.
Well, that doesn't matter during the daytime. He can only operate like 12 hours out of the day, or maybe 8 if it's like the middle of the summer.
If you're in Gotham, listen, I solved it right here. I beat Batman. If you're in Gotham, just only commit crimes during the day.
There you go, right? There you go. How is he gonna sneak around? He has to go down the alleys.
All right. Well, speaking of Batman, we talked about the Batman movie in production. Is back in production. Gotta say, side note, not a fan of the name The Batman. That kind of sounds corny. I thought it would be like Batman Origins or Batman Twilight Batman.
I'm pretty sure they had a DC comic series called just The Batman. With like the old style logo, right?
I'm cool. That's a good comic book. Or we're talking about a movie, all right?
Same thing. It's based off a comic property. What's the difference?
Just call it Batman if that's the case. Just like
they already did that. Now it has to be Batman parentheses 2021, right? Is that when it's coming out? I don't even know. Versus Batman parentheses 1989.
Well,
right?
There you go.
I hate when they do that. Batman is specific.
We do it with Doom. Right?
I know, and it's terrible because now you have to say
Doom 2016
or Doom original Doom, right? You have to specify.
Well, we don't know if this is going to be Batman 2021 because they just stopped production because Robert Pattinson has tested positive for the zombie apocalypse.
He
has the zombie virus.
He's got the Rona. Ugh. That's terrible. I feel for him. I hope he ends up being okay.
Well, he's going to have to quarantine for at least 2 weeks.
He's got to do the 2-week thing. Everyone's got to get tested who has ever been around him. So that's the whole crew.
And be quarantined as well for another 2 weeks. So we don't know when they're going to restart production. Mm-hmm. So this may have to be pushed back until 2022. Right. You never know. It all depends. It all depends if everyone clears up and they can get back like within another month or 2.
Right. Is the Scarecrow the villain in this one? Is he a part of this?
I don't remember. Why?
Because I was gonna say if the Scarecrow was the villain, maybe he was the one that got the Batman sick.
That was corny. That was cool.
Come on, he's all about the noxious gas and the serums and the whatever and the poison breath. No, you're not about it.
No, that was corny.
Oh my God.
I gotta say, out of all the corny things you ever said, that may have been the corniest.
Hey, I'll take that crown. Number one, baby. Number one. There you go.
That may have been the corniest.
There you go. Number one.
Well, if you want to talk about things that are corny, there was a streamer recently. There was a streamer that was sort of trolling people because she had like a PS5 console in her background, and she said she'll get to it. She was like, "Yeah, I got a PS5 in the background. I'll get to the PS5 that's in my background in a minute after the stream." Mm-hmm. And towards the end, she pulled it close to the camera and she cut it in half with a samurai sword or a machete or something. And it turns out she trolled everybody because everyone thought she had an actual PS5, but she had a cake. She had a cake in the shape of a PS5.
She took a wakizashi blade. She took a samurai blade and just like cut into it. And everyone's like, "Oh my God, what are you doing?" And obviously it's not real at that point, but it looked like it looked and had the shape of a real PlayStation 5, right? It must have been like fondant or whatever to get the shape right. Because like it had all the right curves and folds and the color and all that. It looked big. It looked a little bit large, but yeah. So like my thing is like how did she get that PS5, right? How did she get a development kit, an early copy of it? Because we don't even know what the price is yet. So it's like that would be going through my head. All right.
Well, she's a popular streamer, so I would assume it's,
sure.
She's testing it out, right? Okay,
why her
rewind.
and not like Ninja, right?
Okay, rewind.
Somebody.
Well, Ninja, you want the mixer, which is like Xbox, so obviously
it's not there anymore.
Not there anymore.
It's not there anymore.
I'm 100% sure somebody in the wild, like a streamer, has a PS5 or an Xbox Series X.
Oh no!
Under heavy NDA.
Oh no!
Heavy NDA.
They haven't even dropped the price yet. They're not gonna be sending those units out. I mean, maybe.
So I believe in my heart it's out there.
All right.
Somebody has it.
All right.
Heavy NDA.
Okay.
But Dave, as we always try to start the show but epically fail, what have you been playing?
Oh, Dan, I've been playing the game of the century right now. All right.
Wait, game of the century? You've been playing Super Mario World?
I said game of the century, Dan. You got to think bigger. It's not the game of the game of the year. It's not the game of the half
not the game
decade.
of the 90s. Not the game of the 90s.
It's not the game of the half decade. It's not the game of the decade. It's the game of the century.
It's the century. Oh, you've been playing Uncharted 4. You finally got to it. Oh, that's awesome.
God. Oh my God. No, it's on my stack. You got to think bigger. I don't think it can go bigger than that. Oh, you're forgetting about Tony Hawk, baby. Tony Hawk 1 and 2 remake. I picked it up, playing the crap out of it. 360 heel flipping all over the place. Ollie Norths. The game is fantastic, Dan. I'm sorry. Tony Hawk 2 is one of the best games of all time. You can pick up and play. Just everything about it. The soundtrack, the kind of the whole like world that they build, all the levels, the controls. This remake of 1 and 2 is fantastic. They got 4K. It's HDR. Everything's redone like top to bottom. They got all the original, most of the original songs, plus a bunch of new ones. There's like a good like 40, 50 song soundtrack in this thing. And they're all like really good. They all fit within like kind of the skating genre, right? There's the like the punk and the hip hop and the new metal music, right? It all this kind of goes together. But it is so good. It's so good. And I know you haven't played these. But
yeah, none of them.
Well, I would honestly say like try it out.
I have no nostalgic for any of the Tony Hawk games. I have some in the collection,
right?
Right. Garage sales, but I have no nostalgic for this.
Well, you definitely want to play the remake because I mean it looks like a current gen game, like through and through. Not to mention there's some small quality of life improvements, right? Because the whole entire game is just like high score, right? That's like the whole entire thing, but it's high score while skating. And you got to do combos and tricks and like whatever else, and you got to vary up what you do to get like bigger bonuses, and you want to string tricks together to get like the combo multipliers, right? Tony Hawk 1 was like you could do like rail grinds, lip grinds, you could do vert ram tricks, but it was very hard to like string things together, right? You could do some rails if they were close enough, but if there was like a gap and you like hit the ground, like your combo's done, right? So Tony Hawk 2, the best addition to the Tony Hawk franchise is the manual. And the manual basically allows you to string tricks together. So if there's a long gap that you can't just like grind, jump, and then grind, you can do the manual and you balance yourself and then you hop onto the next bit and you continue the trick. The only thing you couldn't do in 2 is if you went up a ramp and you did some tricks off the ramp, that was it. Your combo's over. So in 3, they're like, we're going to introduce the revert, which allowed you to combo down off of the ramp, which was phenomenal. So then you could basically do anything, right? And then in 4, they did this thing called the spine transfer, where you could go from ramp to ramp.
You transferred spines? If you broke your spine, you get a new one?
Not so much. Not so much. You basically went over the spine of the ramp, right? I guess the top they're calling like the
rail?
Yeah, it'd be like a top rail or whatever. If you had 2 ramps together, you could go from one to the other. That was like cool, but it wasn't anything like revolutionary. It was like the revert and really the manual was like the thing. They are all in this game. If you want to use them, you can play with the vanilla trick set, which is, if you're a purist, that's fantastic. So I'm loving it, Dan. Just like I'm
I can hear it in your voice. How much you love this? How much you love this? And you have nostalgia.
Like I said, it's game of the century. I'm sorry. Game of the century.
Game of the century is going to have to wait till Black Friday sale for me to pick it up. I'm sorry.
Oh my God, Dan, you're missing out. Well, honestly though, like seriously, I think you should try it, because even if you're not into skating, like I'm not a skater. I was never good at it. Never really had a board, but it's just so fun. Right? It just exudes, like it's got a 5.0 on like the Game Pro fun scale. Right? It's maximum fun. It's great.
No, listen, I want to buy it, add to the collection. I'll try it out. I'm up for trying anything. Listen, if I could try RPGs, I could try skating.
Yeah, there you go. If you can get into Final Fantasy, you can get into this. This is a much easier game to get into.
I could try it.
All right.
It's gonna have to wait until Black Friday.
Well, fair enough. So that's what I've been playing. That's what I picked up. How about you?
So I picked up Marvel's Avengers for the PS4, and I've been playing that.
Nice.
I'm like 40% into the campaign, right? Like I'm about 40% done with the campaign. Story's crazy. It's just like the opening trailer the first trailer that they launched, where the Avengers have been set up for an explosion that turned a bunch of people
when you're on
in
the
San
bridge
Francisco.
and all that?
Yeah, that bridge sequence, which is cool because that bridge sequence, you get to play as everyone a little bit. It's sort of like the tutorial, right? And you get a chance to feel their powers and see how to use it. And then afterwards, you don't play as any of them until later in the game because you play this new character, Kamala Khan.
Kamala Harris? You play as the vice presidential candidate?
Yes.
Wow.
She's in the game.
Crazy. She's
in the game. Yes, Kamala Khan. I don't know if she is like a character made just for the game, or if she's like in one of the new issues of the comics. 'Cause I don't remember her growing up. So I'm going to say she's like a new character.
I've never heard of her either, so I would assume.
I'm going to say she's of Indian descent, I believe. And her superpowers are, she's like Mr. Fantastic. She can, like
she's
extend.
got noodle arms.
Yeah, like she can make her hands big and her legs big, and she can jump really, far places and reach, which is really the thing you're going to be doing a lot of, is reaching high to grab a ledge and pull yourself up.
Okay.
Right. So she's pretty cool in that regards.
Nice.
And the Avengers are broken up. It is your task to sort of bring them all together, and and show the world that the Avengers weren't to blame, even though they might be somewhat to blame. I haven't beaten the game yet, so I don't know if there's any plot twist or anything like that going on. So I gotta say, I'm really digging the game. What I don't like is the Destiny style element of the game, because I'm not a multiplayer guy. There are a lot of side missions. And it's not, like if you want to get into, it's just so, in my view, a little bit cumbersome to get into the campaign missions just to find them, because there's a lot of side missions you can do. And they want you to do them too, by the way. And anybody can jump into your game if you want help. I always turn that off. So I understand why you had to be online just to play this game at least once, because
right.
Every mission is just like when we play Division. It's like I pick a mission. It's like, all right, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, the countdown.
Then we get in. Yeah.
The thing that was pretty cool is the first like hour or 2 hours is like a tutorial where you really learn you learned everybody else's moveset, and you really learning her story and her moveset. I like the fact that you're building up your home base. So I'm building up the helicarrier, right? So it went from being a wreck and couldn't fly to now it's flying. And it's like crowded with all these people where I can, do my upgrades and stuff. Just like the Division. It's just like the Division, like home base, right?
Okay.
It's essentially the Division with superheroes instead of soldiers. That's the best way I can explain this with an actual single player campaign.
All right. Well, how is the performance of it? Because I know that I think some of the reviews have been a little bit critical of the performance. I don't know.
I think this is a really fun. Let me start by saying this is a really fun game. I'm enjoying my time playing the game the mechanics of the game.
Mm-hmm.
I would say just my critique of just with her at least is she could be all over the place, because a lot of times, especially like when you're like out in Utah or Nevada and you're in the it's like the Rocky Mountains and you got to jump from rock to rock. I've slipped and fell like at least 3 or 4 times where I felt like I couldn't control her, right? Like I couldn't really control her. I would do the jump, I make the jump, and then I can't sort of sustain that and just stand still. I'm falling over the edge because it's a small platform. And I'm like, I don't think that was fair. But other than that, it's a small critique. I'm enjoying the game. I'm really enjoying the game. I'm enjoying the story. I just wish it was easier to jump into the campaign missions. It is a little bit repetitive, but it's not too repetitive in the sense of it takes too long. You can get it done fairly quickly, and then you're off to the next story beat, which is awesome. And then I have a new sort of superhero to control, right? Because you're gaining superheroes little by little, right? So now I finally got Thor. I hope that I have some missions where I get to use Thor a lot more, because I love his moveset, and I love using any superhero who could fly. So I'm sorry, it's so much easier when you can fly.
Of course, man. It's one of the best things. When someone ever says, like, if you could have one superpower, flying is like top 3. All right.
So I've been playing that, and before I got the Avengers, I've been playing Watch Dogs in a Wii U. Now, we talked about this in our Saturday Morning Retro episode last month, and if you want to hear more of my in-depth thoughts on this game, go listen to that episode. But I got to say, I'm not wavering on my score, but I'm going to waver on one thing. I was kind of down on a story, and I'm about 7 to 8 hours in, and the story has just gotten more interesting, I should say. So I would kick it up. The score stays the same, but I will say my critique of the story, it's definitely got a lot better. It takes a while to get into, and I think that is a downside in itself.
Well, you're almost done with it, so something was getting you through. You're enjoying the game enough to continue on it, so I think you may have to revise your score then. All right, it's a little slow to get started, but
even though it's slow to get started, my score stands the way it is. I'm sorry. It's just, if that's the case, then that's a knock. The story, it shouldn't have taken so long for the story to get more interesting. The build up should have been better to where I am now in the game.
Right.
And at this point, I don't know when I'm going to get back into it, because I definitely want to finish Avengers, and then I'm finishing another game for our next Saturday Morning Retro episode. So, and then I definitely want to play Mafia, the definitive edition, right? That's coming out later.
Coming out soon.
Yeah. So, but I got to say, Watch Dogs, underrated game. Overhyped, but underrated.
Well, there you go.
So, why don't we take a break? When we come back, we get into the top gaming news of last week.
Hey, this is Matt Adler, freelance journalist for IGN, and you're listening to Rated G for Gamers podcast.
And we're back. Let's get into the top gaming news of last week. We have to start with Nintendo. They stealth dropped something that, be honest, we should have heard about months ago. It was the worst kept secret. And
you got your wish, man. You got your wish.
I got my wish. I predicted it every month. 1 month I knew I was gonna be right eventually. We got Super Mario Brothers 35th anniversary direct. Finally.
We sure did. And
we got a lot of Mario news.
It was all Mario news.
Yes.
It was all Mario news. It was specifically a Mario Direct.
So, all right, let's just jump into it. We finally got the Wii U port that people have been asking for, and that is Super Mario 3D World. But is it Super Mario 3D World Deluxe, like every other Wii U port, or DX? No. It is Super Mario 3D World plus Bowser's Fury,
which was the DLC.
Yes, they have extra content all added onto this. It's coming out February 21st, 2021. With it's not coming by itself. It's coming with 2 new amiibo. It's Princess Peach and Mario Cat amiibos, which look pretty cool. I definitely want to buy these.
Of course. They're not going to come with the game, but they are releasing at that time. Right?
The same time.
Exactly. Yeah. So they're going to be like $15 a pop. We're going to get them. We're going to have them, and they're going to be great. So hopefully,
it gives me an excuse to go to the office so I can go to the Nintendo store.
Right. You do work right up there, which is kind of nice. I'm assuming they're going to have functionality in the game, right? Because you do have amiibo support on the Switch, so they got to give you something.
That would be cool to get something. I don't know.
Yeah, they got to give you something, even if it's like a new in-game skin or an extra 1-up or something. I don't know.
Well, okay. So these are actually coming out a week before the game. It's coming out on the 12th, February 12th. I don't know what I guess some extra skin, or it could just look cool.
Or a little power-up or something. I mean, either way, we're still going to get them. But, I would assume they do something in-game with it, too.
So that was the start of it. We got some. They announced something else that I just wasn't crazy about. I know you were all about this. Mario Kart Live Home Circuit. You basically get a big Mario Kart racer car, just like those old school electric cars that we used to get.
Yeah,
when we were kids.
RC racers.
Yeah, and you can essentially have a Mario Kart track around your house, and you play it, and you control it through the Switch. It has the camera on the top, and you put you definitely put the sort of what do you call them?
They have 4 little gates that you put down.
Yeah, like 4 little checkpoints, right?
Yeah, and they inform what the design of the track is in some way. Like I'm still a little bit unsure on how they put the track together, right? Because you have to hit all of the checkpoints, but they did some weird things with it where it wasn't a straight line, or it wasn't a 90-degree angle. You could do loops and go off and have a bunch of hairpin turns. I'm like, how does that work? Do you draw to the 2 points? I don't know.
You know what that means, though, right? That means you have to go buy it.
I'm definitely gonna get this, Dan. I'm definitely gonna get this.
Really? You're really gonna get this?
Yeah, man. You need to have a little bit of room to put this down. Otherwise, you're just doing straight oval tracks or straight rounded rectangle tracks, which is okay, but when they showed the presentation video, it was they were in a big living room and they went behind the couch and under the coffee table and looped around the cat, and it was okay, I can definitely get behind this. So yeah, I'm real curious to see how this goes. Curious to see
in the box you get the kart racer with Mario or Luigi. I think you start off with those. Those are coming out October. It's coming out October 16th, and I think other sort of models will be available later on. Because in the commercial, they definitely sort of in the sort of the cutscenes, they sort of showed other cars.
Right.
But I think
they gotta have
Mario
Peach and Donkey
Luigi.
Kong and Toad and all that, and Yoshi,
Bowser.
Yeah, they gotta have
right?
the basic 8. All right.
So you get the cart. You get 4 gates. They call them gates. You get the 4 gates. You get 2 arrow sign boards and a USB charging cable. I guess I'm assuming that's for the car.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, I'm assuming that's for the cart. So
yeah, and possibly the gates too, right? If the gates have some sort of sensors or whatever on there, maybe they have to be charged up too. But yeah, man, I'm excited to see how this goes. I'm excited.
If I get it, I'm not gonna lie. If I get it, it's just going to stay in the box. I'm probably never going to use this.
That's fine. It's certainly your right to do so. I definitely want to try it out and see how it goes. I'm super curious about this. I want to see how good this goes and how much I can do with it.
I should be a fortune teller. I already know what's going to happen, Dave. You want to know what's going to happen? This is what's going to happen. We're both going to buy it. We're both going to buy it. I'm going to be at your house. We're going to try it out, and I'm going to put it back in the box, come home, and never open it ever again.
Yeah. Maybe.
That's exactly what's going to happen. So, but something that it is super cool that I will buy. That's only $50. It's a new Game & Watch with Super Mario Brothers on it.
Well, hopefully we can get copies of this. Yeah, this is limited edition. The Mario Kart Live thing, I think, is just like it's always going to be a product. This is limited. They're only going to make a small supply, maybe like I don't know, 5,000, 10,000. I don't know how much they said they were going to.
Well, they didn't set a number. It's just going to be a limited supply. It's coming out November 13th.
Right.
And this is pretty cool. I love it when Nintendo does little things like this. This is awesome. I 100% want to buy this. It's on pre-order in the UK, in Japan, not in the US, not yet. So I'm super looking forward to this. I hope it's sold in the Nintendo store, because if it is, then I definitely don't need to pre-order it.
Oh, I would pre-order it just in case, because I think people are going to go nuts for it. So
oh yeah, no, people will go nuts for this.
It has the red and white or the red and gold like Famicom colorway on it, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so it has that style. You
has
get
that color scheme.
You get the original Mario Brothers. You get the Lost Levels that comes on a little like LCD screen, right? A little flip up thing, just like the old Game & Watches. And you also get Ball, right? Which was their first game, I think, on like the Game & Watch thing, right? Which used to have Mr. Game & Watch. So now it's going to have Mario in there, so you can play Ball as well as the other two games.
And you can use it as a clock.
You can also use it as a clock. Yeah, there's going to be all these little like cool little things that you can find in the game, like all these little secrets and all that. But
it has an 8-hour charge too.
Right, as it should. You know, it's a tiny little screen. It's only powering Mario Brothers. But this is the thing that scalpers are going to go crazy for. Like I've already seen people on eBay scalping this game for $300, $200, $300.
It's ridiculous.
And it's not even out yet. It's not out in the UK. It's not out in Japan. You know, it's not out in Japan yet. So nobody has it. It is definitely against the eBay terms of service. So whoever's putting these listings up, if they're not struck down already, they definitely will be struck down. It's insane. I hate when people do that. All right.
Oh, it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
They do that.
Oh.
So
not cool.
Something else they announced, again, not my jam. This is sort of in the vein of Tetris 99, right? It's Super Mario Brothers 35 turn classic Mario gameplay, 35-person battle royale. Say that 10 times fast.
Well, that isn't the title, but okay. It's Super Mario Brothers. It's a 35-man battle royale game. Like you said, in the vein of in the vein of Tetris 99, so much so that you can target certain people's play areas, right? You can target people with the most coins or the highest score, the people who are furthest along in the level or whatever it is, and essentially you're playing the Super Mario Brothers levels, right? But you get stuff that like comes into your screen, right, based on other people, right? So if somebody's targeting you, like they can add like, it looks like they can add like bullet bills or squid or whatever else, like all these like crazy things. And if you die, you're out. So you basically have to survive in the game. I'm about this. I mean, it's certainly like, this is definitely not for the faint of heart. Like you got to really be in it. It's very high pressure, right? Everything's moving super quick. You're probably going to die very quickly if you don't know what you're doing. So,
well, it's only available to people who have Nintendo Online. So if you're a Nintendo Online subscriber, it'll be available October 1st. Unfortunately, it's going to stop. It's going to end March 31st of 2021.
Right. Which is weird. Like, I know they're kind of doing it for the event, right? They want to make it this big celebration. It's a limited thing. It's special. But they still have Tetris 99 going. I play that game from time to time, and I pop in there. Like, I wish they would keep it going. But
well, the thing that they are going to keep going is Super Mario All-Stars, right? The original Super Mario All-Stars that had Super Mario Brothers 2 and 3 and the Lost Levels that came out on the Super Nintendo, right?
Had the best game of all time on there. That's
the best game for the NES, which was Super Mario Bros.
Best
2.
Game of all time. I didn't say which one. I just said it had the best game of all time, Dan.
All right. Well, you know what?
We'll let the best game of all time.
We'll let people out there guess which one it is. Super Mario Brothers 2. But you can play it right now on Nintendo Online. It is available on the Super Nintendo store.
Yeah.
Well, Super Nintendo. I don't know what do you call it. It's the Super Nintendo not eShop, because you can't really shop or anything. It's just
Nintendo Online. It's on Nintendo Online.
It's on Nintendo Online, but it's on the Super Nintendo. Remember, you have to download the NES version, and you have to download the SNES version.
There's a Super NES app and an NES app, which is weird. I don't know why they just didn't put them all in one app, and then you choose which games you want to look at. But
the thing that we've been waiting for, we got it. It's coming, and that's Super Mario 3D All Stars, and it's coming out September 18th. So, I'm all for it. We knew this was coming. This was like the worst kept secret. But what we didn't account for, that this is only going to be sold for a limited time, and not just physical, but digital too. It will be delisted.
Yeah,
this is only going to go in through March 2021.
Right. So again, this is something. If you haven't pre-ordered it, pre-order it now, because it's definitely going to go quick.
So you got Super Mario 64, Super Mario Sunshine, and Super Mario Galaxy. And the reason why I think this is sort of put out for a limited time is because, think about it. When they start putting N64 games or GameCube games or even Wii games eventually on Nintendo Online, what do you think is going to spearhead that? This Mario games are going to spearhead that. It's going to be like, hey, you can now play N64 games on Nintendo Online, and you play Super Mario 64, Pilot Wing 64, Excite Bike 64. They're going to throw all those 64 games up there, right? So that's why they want you to buy it now as a limited time offer, but they really want you to subscribe to Nintendo Online when they put this game out as an offer for it, right? For the Nintendo Online service.
That's not a bad theory. I think you're right. You know, like on top of it making like a special event and this and that, like you don't want to hide this from the world. You still want people to play this, and why not get people onto your online service, which has been a bit of a struggle, right? Because they don't have a huge library. They add games every now and again, and everyone's like, "Great, this is cool. I can play Kirby Avalanche now, or Kirby Superstar, or whatever it is. I can play."
I think
Kid
they said
Icarus
they have like 80 games combined, like the NES and SNES or something like that. They have a large amount of games you can play.
That's not a bad set. It's not a bad set for a 3-year-old online service, sure. But man, if you can get some like 3D games in there too, like yeah, that'd make a difference.
So we definitely pre-ordered it. I like the Direct. My only complaint was all of those partner Directs that they had could have been combined into this one big Direct. But this takes me to a bigger issue. We're in September, right? And Super Mario 3D All Stars is coming out in September. We know about Pikmin 3 Deluxe coming out in October. What else does Nintendo have coming out this year?
Well, they don't. They don't. That's the other problem. I don't think grouping all these directs together would have solved anything, because they have a weak year, right? Like the two big milestones, minus the Mario 35th anniversary, right, is Paper Mario, the Origami King, and also
Animal Crossing.
Animal Crossing, right? Animal Crossing.
Those are the only two new games I can think of that we got this year.
And like Paper Mario was good, but not great. Animal Crossing blew it out of the water, but you can't rest the whole entire year just on Animal Crossing.
Second best selling game on the Switch, right? Second best behind Mario Kart.
Second best? Oh, okay. Yeah. No, I thought it was the number one spot, but sure. Yeah.
No, Mario Kart's still number one.
Right. Which is like crazy. But you can't just run a whole year on a single game. Like that's just not going to do it. So I think COVID hit Nintendo hard. All right, the zombie apocalypse certainly hurt their internal development teams. It certainly held back anything that they wanted to put out now. Right, like we don't necessarily know what the games would be, because they're not out, obviously, right? You know, they've kind of been delayed. We don't know if it's because of like the zombie apocalypse. We can only assume that, you know, well, we don't really have anything else, you know. So like, is this it? Is there going to be another direct in like early October? Hopefully, but I don't think they're going to have much. Yeah.
I say we got one more game coming out. Something that we don't know of. It's probably another port of something, maybe a Wii game.
Sure.
But other than that, I don't think we're going to see anything brand new from them. Like, I think everything's going to be next year.
Right. And I think they would have, if 2020 was not a dumpster fire, I think we would have seen more from Nintendo, right?
Okay. No, possibly Metroid, but that's probably, you know, still in development. Where's Bayonetta 3?
Right.
Where's Bayonetta 3?
I think that is a casualty of war.
That's not Nintendo proper. That's Platinum Games. But where is it? Right.
Well, you know, it's a Japanese company, and you know, COVID.
Reggie was still the president.
I know that was late 2018. Right. It was late 2018. I think they're like, hey, look, Bayonetta 3, and we're all like, yes. And nothing.
Well, at least we got something, right? And I'm definitely looking forward to playing Super Mario 64. Mario 64, because I have no nostalgia for that game. Didn't have it on the N64 growing up.
Same. Well, I never had the N64 until like now when I started like collecting stuff. So
yeah. All right, let's shift gears. Let's talk about AT&T. Right, they were all in the news for the longest time because they were selling Warner Brothers Interactive Gaming Division, and they wanted $4.5 billion. It looks like they sort of stepped back a little, and they've now said that, you know, the gaming division is just too much. It's too valuable to lose right now, so they've taken it off the market. So they are no longer selling Warner Brothers Interactive.
Interesting. So. I'm assuming that nobody wanted to pay the 4.5 for it, right?
I mean, it's so, these are really good studios, right? Like, these are some of the top tier studios out there. However, you're not getting the full offering of these studios because you're not getting any of the IPs, right? The only IP you would own in this, other than some probably no-name, smaller, you know, IPs that aren't really worth much, is Mortal Kombat.
Right. And like Mortal Kombat's high right now, right? The last 3 offerings have been fantastic, but yeah, you're right. You don't get all like the DC titles. You don't get all that because that's a licensing agreement.
Well, think about it.
Even though it's like Warner Brothers Studios that's putting out all these movies and whatnot, but yeah, it's a different division, right? You don't just automatically get the rights to make a Batman game, right? You have to negotiate that.
Well, I'm paying you $4 billion, and then I have to pay you a side deal to use the rights to the characters so I can utilize the studio to its fullest extent, right? So it's just too much money, and I think they definitely overpriced it for those things. I mean, it's worth that much.
It's a lot of money.
That's a lot of money. A lot of money.
Yeah.
Don't think that. I'm looking forward to Suicide Squad, but if you're spending the money, you won't be able to make a Suicide Squad 2 without putting out more money.
Right. Yeah.
Not just $4 billion.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
But all right, that's DC. Let's talk Marvel. Right, you know, rest in peace, Chadwick Boseman. Rest in peace, Black Panther.
Wakanda
throw up
forever.
the X. Wakanda forever. Throw up the X. X is gonna give it to you. Fortnite is honoring Black Panther with a monument in its latest Marvel crossover.
It's very nice.
But I don't want to talk Fortnite. I want to talk. Why haven't we got a Black Panther game?
Yeah,
it's time.
Yeah,
it's time.
That's a good point. It's a good point. You could do it without being beholden to any, you know, release date for a movie or whatever it is. You can just kind of put it out on its own. People know who Black Panther is now, right? Because he's been in like several
Marvel
Avengers movies,
all
right?
the Avengers movies, yeah.
Right. He has a standalone thing. He has, all the Avengers team up movies. Everyone knows who Black Panther is. Everybody loves Black Panther. The Black Panther movie on its own did phenomenally well. Everyone loved it. It got rated real well. So why not just make a standalone Black Panther game? Yeah.
Let me ask you a question.
I would be all about it then.
Let me ask you a question. What studio would you want to helm a Black Panther game?
Oh, interesting. Like who would I think has the cojones, the chops to do it right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a very good question. Maybe. Oh, I've got it. What about Crytek, the guys who made Crysis? Right.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Have them make the game, because my God, did that original Crysis game, it still holds up today, right? It did a lot of crazy things graphically and with like the gameplay and how you could attack each little level your own way. I could totally see that with Black Panther, just Wakandan technology as opposed to like the weird Crytek suit or whatever, the Predator suit or whatever the lead character was in. You could do like something like that. I think I'd knock it out of the water.
How about this? Alternate universe style thing. Disney swoops in, says AT&T, we'll give you $4.5 billion. You know why? Because we're not going to worry about no stinking license agreements for your DC properties. Mm-hmm. We have all the Marvel properties they can make it for, and we'll have Rocksteady do sort of a Batman style game with Black Panther.
Oh God, you want to do like a crossover thing?
No crossover. Crossover. We're doing a sort of, again, Batman style game, but it's all Black Panther. No DC people. It's just think of the Arkham games, except for they're set in Africa, and it's Black Panther
with Black Panther and not Bruce Wayne. Okay, yeah, I get behind that. You think of like Rocksteady, you get behind this, and put out like a detective stealth game with like a good combo system.
Well, the $4 billion would be worth it then, right? Like Disney, it would be worth the $4 billion because now they have in-house gaming studios that are top tier, the top line guys, and the whole point of not spending $4 billion is because you got to broker a side deal with with WB, and it's like, well, I'm not going to do that. I have my own IP they can make games for. Why are they making a suicide?
They don't have to do it.
You don't have to make a Suicide Squad game. They can make a Sinister Six game, right? Like we have our own bad guy game. So I think if anything, Disney could do that, and then they wouldn't have to outsource. They wouldn't have to outsource and have other studios make their Marvel games. They can do it all in house,
right?
And get all the money.
In an alternate universe, I would be all about this. In this universe, ain't ever gonna happen, Dan.
Well, I wouldn't say never, because if anybody who could afford the $4 billion, it would be Disney, right? But
true. Disney or Apple?
Disney or Apple? I don't think Apple wants to make games.
Hell, I don't know about that.
That's another story.
They did make the Pippin, Dan. Come on, they did make the Pippin. All right. Yeah,
it definitely was the sidekick. It definitely was the sidekick to whoever the Jordan was at that time.
Right.
There's my corny joke for the.
No, I got you. You throw an alley oop to the star who dunks it, right? I guess it's like that was like mid to late 90s. Well, I gotta say, like Super Nintendo, PlayStation, right? Throwing an alley oop to them.
No, I thought the Pippin was like 96, 97. So that's
maybe
like
it was 96, 97. Then it would definitely be the PlayStation. Would be the Jordan in that scenario.
Yeah. All right. So here's a realistic pick.
Mm-hmm.
Here's a realistic pick. Insomniac, right? They already made Spider-Man games, right? We like the way it feels. The only difference is Spider-Man, Sunset Overdrive are like bright and colorful games. Wakanda, it could be, it's a city, and then you sort of have the jungle and, a lot of night themed to it.
Well,
right?
you would, I think you would do it like that kind of the retro wave, kind of like Blade Runner-y, right? Where it's kind of dark, but it's got a lot of neon, right? It's got like that future tech feel to it, right? I could see that.
So, they can introduce it in the Spider-Man game, right? Mm-hmm. So So it's, to get to see the people's reception to the mechanics and stuff like that. And then if people like it and there's a calling for it, then they just make a full-fledged Black Panther game. The only downside to that is it would be a PlayStation exclusive.
Well,
it's
Insomniac, right? Yeah, which is terrible. You can't have that. You got to make this game cross-platform, right?
Well, I'm just saying, if you want the game to be made, Marvel already has a relationship with Insomniac, which is owned by PlayStation, Sony. So I'm just saying we can get this game made. That's all I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
So, or we could just get Hello Games to make it for us. And you never know. Maybe they are making this because Sean Murray, who helms, he's the lead guy at Hello Games, who made No Man's Sky, was being interviewed, and he discussed that most of their team is they're working on No Man's Sky updates, but they're also working on an ambitious game, ambitious new game that is not a sequel to No Man's Sky.
Okay, so ambitious, huge ambitious new game, huge and ambitious are the two words that give me pause, Dan. All right, because everybody, when you hear Hello Games, you hear No Man's Sky, you go, oh, those guys, right? They have a lot of baggage, sadly. They have a lot of baggage that they have to contend with, right? That game came out. No Man's Sky came out.
2016, 2015?
I'm pretty sure it was 2016, yeah. Pretty sure it was 2016. And that game, by all accounts, it looked amazing. It had dinosaurs in the trailer. They had all these cool things that they promised, and they definitely didn't deliver at launch. All right, and that kind of stuck with gamers. Everyone's like, "Wow, this game is not good. It's not finished. It's very boring. It's huge, right? There's 4 billion planets or whatever it is in the game, but all the planets are the same, and there's nothing there." Right? It's sure, they're all randomized and all that, but it's I land on a planet, I got to mine materials, I build the thing to get off this planet. It's okay. I mean, to their credit, though, I will say that they added a bunch of stuff in, right? They added in, you could actually, meet other people, and I think you could do, space battles eventually, and they put out a hell of a ton of patches and a ton of content. They moved it to the Xbox, too. They added VR support for the PlayStation. So they did some, good stuff, but I don't think that brought a lot of people back.
Well, the No Man's Sky is a totally different game now than it was launch.
It's 100%. Right? Yeah, it's a very different game. It's actually the game that they promised at this point.
And then what would it take for you to get hype for a new Hello Games game, right? They've already made it up. To me, they've already made it up to you, right? We're sorry. We overhyped it, right? And remember, they were a small team back then. Now they're a team of 26.
Sure,
now they have 26 people.
You have to build within your means, right? If you're going to do a big, hella ambitious game, right? If you're going to make a Fable-style game or a Destiny-style game, you have to come to the table with that level of game, right? If you're going to hype us all up and then you come to the table and you only get a drumstick as opposed to the whole turkey, right? People aren't going to be happy. This is not a Thanksgiving dinner, right? Where's the sides? Where's the giant turkey? You got a leg and that's it.
So, right, but you know what? If I would agree with you if No Man's Sky was still No Man's Sky of old right now. But No Man's Sky now is totally different than No Man's Sky of 2016.
Well, sure, but it took them 3 years to get there. So what I'm suspect of is that they're going to come out with a game that is, they're going to shoot for the fences, and they're only going to get a ground rule double. All right, they're only going to get the second base. So what I'm going to do is wait till the game comes out, see what the review scores are. If it lives up to the hype, then I'm all right, I'm in. Right.
I think they're going to do something totally different. I mean, look, so they're a team of 26.
Sure.
3 of those people are working on a smaller style game that we saw at the Xbox showcase called The Last Campfire. Right.
Which looked kind of cool. Yeah.
Totally different than the No Man's Sky theme. Mm-hmm. So now that there are 26 people and growing, by the way, I imagine that they hire, maybe another handful of people to hit 30 something.
I don't see why not. I mean, they obviously have capital to create another big, large scale game.
Yeah.
So they have to be doing something right at this point.
I would say if they keep expectations low, a little lower, right? And you keep
Well,
you keep ambition, you keep that, an ambitious new title internal. But
they're already saying huge and ambitious, tacked onto their new game. So they're obviously swinging for the fences.
Well, I would like to hear the interview, right? Because I think there was an interview with Polygon where it's all in print form. I would like to hear how he sort of describes it. Like maybe it's huge, huge and ambitious for us. You know how when you take one part of an interview as a headline or a tagline and it's sort of taken out of context, right? So maybe it's taken out of context. Maybe it's huge and ambitious for us.
Well, but their last game was huge and ambitious, and it didn't deliver because they were like, well, we promised a lot and we couldn't get it out on time, which is understandable.
Hey,
but...
I tell you a quick story. At work, at my job, working in the legal field, I made a mistake.
Was it a huge and ambitious mistake, or
it was a huge and ambitious mistake?
Okay.
And I was afraid that one of our biggest clients would not want me to work on any of his stuff anymore. And he told me, he said, I really want you to work on my stuff now more than ever because you made a huge and ambitious mistake, and I know you would never make that again. Right? So these guys made a big mistake in the marketing of their first game, and they made good on it. Kudos to them. I think I trust them not to make that same mistake twice. So I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt. I'm all in day one if it's the type of game that I'm into. I say all, listen, let's do it. Make that Black Panther game, guys.
Sure.
So, all right, let's end with this. It doesn't matter what political affiliation you have. We can all agree, come November, you should get out there and go vote. Right?
100%. And if you're in America, because, other people's elections aren't necessarily on November 3rd. So if you're in America, get out there and vote. And if you can't vote, register to vote. And then get out there and vote.
Yes. Let your voices be heard. I always find it interesting how politics always spills into pop culture, right? Which of course, right? It kind of makes sense, but it's always like a big thing when it first happens. Look, Bill Clinton was on our Arsenio Hall show, right? That was like the first time, somebody, of that stature, a politician was on our Arsenio Hall show, and it made big waves. Obama had like the first viral campaign, like online internet campaign for president. And I think he was the first to be in a video game too, if I'm not mistaken. And that could be true. I think he was in Burnout Paradise, right? There was like ads out.
Yeah, he because Burnout Paradise was coming out around his first presidency, and there were in-game billboards, and he's like, or his campaign team, I think, really said like, "Hey, we want to go ahead and advertise in your game." So there were like big banners with Obama, and it said, get out there and vote November 3rd or whatever.
I doubt Obama himself said, you know what, this Burnout Paradise game, it looks pretty good.
You never know.
I doubt it.
Know.
But his running mate, now running for president, Biden campaign has released Animal Crossing digital yard signs. So, this is pretty cool. I really like this. Listen, no matter if you're a Biden fan or not, you got to think this is cool. Only for one reason. Video games have been, when politicians talk about video games, it's always in a negative light, right? Like, video games are the reason why they're mass shooting. It's always been, think about it. We got the ESRB because politicians interfered in the video game industry, right? So it's always been negative. This is a positive thing where they're sort of reaching out as an olive branch. And it's a positive thing when it comes to video games in politics.
Yeah. Nothing but like a good thing in this case, right? If you want to put the yard signs up, by all means, get out there and do it. Show your support. And hell, if you don't like that candidate, you can technically make your own if you want and throw them up in your own virtual yard. If I owned this game, I would certainly do that. I would decorate my yard and throw some Biden signs up there because why not? You know, Biden Harris, let's go 2020. Yeah,
So,
man.
Wait, Dave.
Uh-huh.
I think this is a gross mistake on your part. You got to buy Animal Crossing. Animal Crossing, I didn't think would be my jam, and it's not my jam long term, but it definitely hooked me in for like that first 2 months.
Oh, well, I already told you I can't do that, right? I will find other ways to promote my candidate. Yeah, it's just not. It's not my jam. It's not that it's not my jam. I don't want to get wrapped up in it because once I get wrapped up in it, I'm not going to leave until I have my palace set up, until I get my jungle palace set up. Yeah, it's going to be ridiculous. It's going to be grinding out for all these damn materials. No, not about it. Not about it. Because I know I'm going to get into it way too much, and that's going to be a problem. Yeah, I think that about does it, Dan. That is episode 234 in the books. And we want to throw a big shout out, a massive virtual hug to all our fans because you guys are the greatest. And you've been doing all these awesome things like commenting and subscribing and listening week after week. We love all that you guys do. And if you want to interact with us, and we know that you do, you can find us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and Patreon at Rated G for Gamers. And also, we are part of the Gaming Podcast Alliance. Check out all of the fine podcasts featured on there at gamingpodcastalliance.com if you're looking for more gaming goodness. So, please listen, like, rate, review, and subscribe. And as always,
Keep gaming.